someone else the power to control your future.
That's how we scale.
But that's intuition.
You had no other option.
I thrive on new, bigger problems. Makes me so happy.
Sometimes too much.
It was me and only me.
There's money on the floor. Go get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Welcome to another episode of the SHE.E.O. This is kind of free flow conversation. It's how our dreams became a business. And I know that you said that you want to talk about how
Be careful what you wish for.
be careful what you wish for.
In the best way possible. Comes with negative and positive, lots of positive. I think that mostly with a passion project, if you have something that you're super passionate about and it's like your baby, if you want it to get to something, it comes with things that you don't really see at first, right? Like the time commitment and the obligation, and to satisfy this. I'll give you an example. So with Fishbowl, when I started it, it was just something fun. I just had a couple of, I was working with my kid at first, and then I had a couple of teenagers that I was working with. And it was fun. It was casual. Once a week, they come out with something cool. They don't.
No
great.
pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Fast forward to 9 schools, 2 districts. We're getting another 9 schools next semester. Thousands of kids. My kids are now involved in the business. My oldest is involved in decisions and certain things like, what do I like? What do I not like? What would other kids like? It becomes so much more, which is absolutely beautiful, but it's also just kind of, I feel like when you go into a passion project, you have to understand what is your cap. And I think that's something where I didn't make that decision because I wanted it to be huge, but I didn't really understand what that was
I
gonna
guess
look like.
when you make something that you're good at or that you have a passion for, it kind of changes. I feel like it changes the relationship you have with it. Something that was once fun and something that you're good at, and you did it for, just for yourself, or answered like a problem that you had, or something that's, you still have a void for in your life. It answered that, but then it became something a lot more. It became something that's an obligation, It's an obligation. There's no more fun. There's a lot of things that you don't take into consideration. Like you said, it's another baby.
Right.
It's another baby. And, when you have kids, you're like, oh, it's amazing. I'm a mom, I have another baby. But you don't see the things that come with it, which is the responsibility, which is the endless nights and all that stuff. And same thing with a business. It's a baby, just like with your kids, when you have a kid, you have the whole guilt feeling nonstop. Same thing with a business, even though it's your own. If you don't work,
then it doesn't happen.
Then you're there and you're guilty.
Right.
If you do work, then you're guilty because you're not doing other things. So it changes a lot of the relationship you have with what was once your passion.
Right.
So you have to keep on.
I think, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this, but like being a parent doesn't come with a manual.
Correct.
It's kind of the same thing with a passion project as far as I'm concerned. If it's just a business that you're getting into to make money and you like it, but it's not like your life, then okay, then maybe you've done a little bit more homework before, right? Like, what are the steps that I need to do and how time consuming? And it's cool if I'm done at 4 because I'm good. Like, I'm content with what I did for the day and I'm good. And I can, passion project is you wake up before the kids, you work on it, you get the kids to school, they come back from school, you're with them, you're working on it again, you're working on it when they're at school, you're working on it at night because it's yours. It's different. It's something that you built. And I think that doesn't come with a manual either.
But it also depends on what is your goal when you build that passion project.
I don't know if there was a goal. For me, there wasn't. I loved it. I loved it, and it made such a change for my kid.
Okay.
That when I worked with other kids, I was like, oh my God, it's making a change for them too. Cool. Next step, schools. Oh my God, I just worked at a school with 100 kids. Oh my God, I have 9 kids. It's 1,000, or 9 schools, 1,000 kids. I didn't. I did it because of a question that I had. I went to a networking meeting. We talked about this before, and I developed a brand with my kid together during COVID. But the switch for me was I was at a networking meeting and one of the people there was asking a question. They said, if you're not doing what you're doing now, and these are all entrepreneurs, you're not doing what you're doing now, what would you do? And I said, I would do something with advocating for kids. I don't know what it is, probably something with the arts, but I would advocate for kids because I'm definitely that person. I have this soft spot because I don't think that kids are heard enough, whether it's in the school system, whether it's day to day, whether it's things that we are projecting to them. I just don't think that they're heard enough. I'm not saying that I'm perfect because I think I do the same mistakes, but so that's what I said. I said I would do that. And then I couldn't sleep on it for a couple, like I just could not sleep for a couple of days. It's like, why would I say that? Everybody was like, oh, I would still do the same thing, or I would maybe do something a little bit different, or I would take vacation. I was like, oh, I would advocate. So I never went into it really analyzing what that meant. And I said, I'm just going to do it.
But here's the thing: where do you stop? Because you could have stopped at one school, you
Right.
could have stopped at 5 businesses, or but you choose on keep on growing. I
Yeah.
choose to keep evolving and bring on more clients, and kind of like my umbrella getting bigger and bigger, more services, more things that I do, more, and same thing with you. Like you get, you bring on more and more clients. Are we working because we have to, or are we working because it's just a passion project on the side, like for fun?
Yeah.
So you have to know like where you stop yourself, because you could have stopped, like I said, at 1 or 2 or 9 schools.
Yeah.
Why are you going into homeschooling? Why are you going into, like
I think for me, because it's a passion project, and I use that word really strongly because I think that there's a company that you love, and then there's one that's like a passion that you love everything about it. So as much as it's exhausting, and this is where I'm saying there's good and bad, even me working until 3:00 in the morning sometimes, I'm going to sleep super happy, super satisfied. And that's why I'm not going to sleep until 3 in the morning, because I'm working on these things that, like, damn, I got it to this level. I'm going to take it to this level now. And I don't need to. I have my construction company.
it's addicting.
It's an
very much
addiction.
addicting. Yeah, it's addiction.
So I don't know what my end goal is. And I think, I had a conversation. I went to one of the schools, and one of the teachers, we're not working with the school, but one of the teachers came up to me and they said, listen, we love the program. Please don't add anything else to my plate. Like, I don't want to take any of this, like nothing. I will look from the side. Like, I don't want to handle it. And then, obviously I explained to him, you're not going to be doing it. We're going to come in. We're taking over when we're teaching it. So it's not on you. But he said, for me, success looks completely different. For me, it's like I clock in, I clock
Yeah.
out, I go home, being
I
with
wish
my
I was
kids.
one of those people.
But some people are. Yeah, I don't think
wish. It's a
most
lot
entrepreneurs
easier.
aren't. I don't think most entrepreneurs that are really obsessed with what they're doing, they're not. I think those are more 9 to 5. Their form of success is being able to get things that.
So why not do the 9 to 5? Because you can do what you do, and I can do what I do, and you can do what I do, which is what we love. But do it for another company. Do it for someone else who has the headache of customer service and how to grow and all that stuff. You have the power. You can actually use those things that you love to do, but for someone else. So let him have the all-nighters.
I think we touched on this before about being us doing not what everyone else is doing is such a courageous thing, right?
Yeah.
It takes a whole lot of courage to say, I'm not going to do the 9 to 5 and work for somebody else. I'm just going to jump all in and see what happens. You talk about having a passion project. To me, my passion project is my business.
Right.
And that is what I wake up in the morning and I think about it, and I go to sleep thinking about it. And I look at, when I hear, be careful what you wish for, I thrive on the problems. I thrive on new, bigger problems.
Yeah.
Because that to me is an indicator that I'm growing.
Right.
Is there ever a time where it's plateau, where you're just in the same stage with the same amount of clients?
No.
You don't want that sometimes?
No.
You don't have those moments where you said, I just need to pause everything.
I'm scared when I feel like I'm in a plateau. That means I'm not growing.
Yeah.
So I immediately, as soon as I start feeling that, what crazy thing can I do right now to shake up this environment? To move things around. I'm gonna shake the street to see what falls.
I agree.
What made you though open your own business? What made you do that?
I knew
Is
that
it
I
something
could
from
do.
maybe from your childhood, something that you went through in your previous job?
Well, I mean, I know from going back to childhood, we didn't grow up with a lot of money, with barely any money. My mom would go to sleep at night trying to figure out how do I make $10, fit for children, and like what can I buy at the grocery store with this, and how long will this, last me, right? We lived in a studio apartment in LA with 6 people. And when the
Wow.
manager would come, my parents would be like, leave, 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 leave. So they don't know that there's like 4 kids here because it's
Wow.
supposed to be only meant for 2, right? So it was that kind of a childhood. But you know what? It was a happy childhood because there was a lot of love.
Yeah.
But one thing I knew was that money was not going to be an issue. Not that like I have so much abundance of it that, because I'm still working towards that and continue to, I don't think I'll ever have a cap. But I knew that's the one thing that like, that's not going to be an issue for me because I don't want it to be.
Right.
Because there's so much out there, just money on the floor. Go get it.
Mhm.
You just have to go want it. And for me, in order to do that, what success looks like for me is constant discomfort. That's what makes me happy.
Really?
Constant.
Wow.
I'm with you. I
Wow.
want comfort.
I know.
Wow.
I don't want comfort.
Ever.
if-
When you're 60,
No.
when you're
no,
70.
I will never stop.
So if somebody came and said, okay, you know what, your company is where it needs to be, it's worth,
Millions
half a
and
billion
millions, yeah.
dollars, we're going to buy you out. That's not comfortable for you. You don't want to
I want more.
So you don't have to work.
it's
Your
beautiful.
child doesn't have to work. Your grandkids don't have to work.
Working is a privilege. Working is a blessing.
It is.
It's true because
If you're doing something you love.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was taught.
Yeah.
My husband would always laugh at me that my parents taught me to just always love what you do. He comes from more like we work because we have to work. We make
Right.
money where we make money.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I have to see what I love in order for me to wake up every day and have that load be worth it.
But that's old. That's like an old mentality. Very.
He is older than me.
Wow. But I think it's also very different backgrounds, different ethnic backgrounds have that. Of you got to just make sure that you're covering yourself, you're paying the bills, you have the basic necessities for your children. I think now it's changed. Now, depending on where you live, it's also you got to have the nice car. And it's not about what you love. It's not about it at all. And I think that that's the biggest mistake because there's depression and there's all of this like midlife crisis. Like, oh, now I'm going to go and discover myself. Like, no, you could have already discovered yourself and made the same, if not more, because you're passionate about it. Like that's what I was saying. I love my construction company. I'm very good at it. Our projects are amazing. We do multi-million-dollar houses. Is it my passion project? No, it's not. It's not my passion.
So why do it? Why not focus on just on fishbowl?
Because first of all, I was taught the same. You need to do things to make ends meet. And I also did do some passion projects that failed through, in time. Like I had different businesses.
People don't see that.
People don't see that. People don't see the years that it took you to get to where you're at.
The cries at night.
I see you as an overnight success.
All overnight success. Yeah. My comfort is that I have a company that I love, the Oak Development. I love it. I work with my dad. I love that. I have clients that I love. We do a really good job. That's my comfort. And when I have time in between, and I find the time, and it sometimes overlaps, is my passion project. And I think that when you don't have the stressors around your passion project of this needs to make me enough money to pay the bills and this needs to, then it becomes successful because it's like, this is just a plus. Everything that I'm doing is a plus. And technically I don't have to stay up until 3 a.m, but I strive for it. It's like the adrenaline for me. So for me, it's not the stressors. The stressors, I can like, that's why when you said it, I was like, oh, no, I can't. When it's too much, I need a day or two to like.
So what do you do?
I need a day or two to zone
You close
out.
everything off?
No, I don't.
Phone?
I don't. I
know you told me you did a marathon of Friends. You were trying to relax a marathon of Friends, which I love.
Friends,
but then
Seinfeld, all of those.
But then you're texting me, emailing,
but
doing
that's
phone
not
calls.
That's not work. That's not work to me. So I know that we're going into different topics, but I went to a seminar with this child psychologist a while ago. She did this thing with a bunch of parents at one of the schools. And one of the things that she says is that you have to take, some time out of the day to meditate. Now, I don't know how to meditate. I don't understand it. I can't be in a room that's completely quiet. I can't do it. It irritates me.
It makes you think even more.
Right.
Yeah, I know. Trust
so
me.
my meditation is Friends, is binging Friends or binging Seinfeld. And I've seen them a million times and I know exactly what I'm watching.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time I'm zoned out. That's my meditation.
Yes.
In my own, that's my way of just like unwinding. And if I have a thought of business, that's fine. But other than like, if I'm not doing that, then it's back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
Like, so to me, that's meditation, even
Honestly,
though I'm texting you.
for me too, TV is the one thing that actually turns off my brain.
Yeah.
Well, that and something else, a little bit of
something else.
something else. But yeah, because I found myself when I'm with my kids, I think about it. When I go outside with them and I watch their after school activities, I'm thinking about it. When I'm with friends, I think about it. When I'm in the shower, I think about it. Like, because when you have your own business, you're not just doing your passion, you're also the customer service, you're also the strategic marketer,
Right.
you're also,
You're all of it.
You're everything. You're wearing all hats.
You're
yeah.
everything. You're taking care of the financial aspect of it. And there's just so much of a load on you besides doing what you love.
I think that's why surfing comes into play for me, because you have to be present.
Surfing.
Yeah, so I surf, and
She does it all.
you have,
I mean, of course
She
she
does it all.
Of course
I
she
can't
does.
wait until my kids get older to do all those things.
but you have to be present. Otherwise, the ocean will eat you alive. So you have to pay attention to the waves and make sure that, okay, paddle out, paddle back, get off your board.
When are you giving us lessons?
Yeah, yes. Otherwise,
Summer's coming up.
Yeah.
And even fight class,
Yeah.
like you have to be present, or you're gonna get clobbered.
Yeah.
So you have to be there. So I have to turn off business, and I have to be in that moment. I think that's why.
Is that meditation for you?
Yes, because I get to take out but
But you're still focused. So it's so interesting how it's so
I know
different
where
for
you're
so
going
many
with
people.
this.
Right?
Like you still have to be really focused. For
Yeah.
me, I'm like a slug.
I'm like
That's
that
what
too.
that's my that's my
Doing nothing.
Nothing.
No mommy. No laundry.
No, I don't even care. You know
No,
what?
no,
Mommy, yes.
not even
come
driving
to bed.
around
Let's
with
watch
my
Friends
God.
together. Let's
I can't.
yes, that
I
you
like
don't you're not that
honestly
person.
do.
The one thing though that when I do slow down is like morning coffee on the weekend with my husband. Then it's
That's
just like
cute.
morning coffee in bed. Like that's I
One
look
day.
forward-
One,
I
one
look forward
hour
to
a
that.
week.
2.
2 hours. Wow.
Saturday morning before fight class, and then Sunday
I have a
morning
question.
before fight class.
Did you have this with when your daughter was younger?
Oh yeah, so she would. So those morning coffees last longer because now there's 3 conversations, versus the one. So when she's in town, she's like, "Yay, coffee!"
That's so
And-
cute. That's so
And
cute.
we'd all jump in bed, or all of the 3 of us will be on the couch. But when it's just my husband and I, we end up talking about business anyway.
Yeah.
And you okay with that?
Yes,
Really?
I love it. It just
So,
it
I
makes
mean,
me
I
so
have conversations
happy.
with my husband about business.
But doesn't it
It makes me so
become
happy.
sometimes too much and you're like, what
No.
about us?
No,
No.
we
No?
are. This is us.
This is us, yeah.
This is us. Like we enjoy
You're okay
it
I
with
don't
so
try.
much.
I don't try to listen. If I'm not okay with it, I'll say something.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's part of our life. I don't
It
try to change
is.
to what I think it needs to be. Like
Yeah.
if this is and this is fun. We were talking about AI yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and he's really into it. Very excited about all the different apps and like it's super cool the stuff that he's creating. And we're talking. It's business, and it was late, and I was exhausted. But it's fun.
Maybe
It's
I'm just
fun.
fighting it. I
exciting.
don't know. I feel like I'm fighting it. I feel like I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
Because, you do need that rest. I'm like you. I need that
Yeah.
shutting the mind off
Yeah.
and not thinking about, not even like payrolls.
Wait, I'm gonna hold
Yeah.
on. When we have these fun conversations, it's not about stressors. So it's not about did you close this client so that we could we have those conversations because we need to, but that's not the meditation that I'm talking about. I'm talking about something new that's exciting, like, oh my God, I'm gonna go and meet with the school. I really plan to
Yeah,
close it. I'm
love
so
that.
excited about it.
I love
It's
that.
that kind of conversation and not like, I don't know what to do. I've been working with this client for such a long
Something
time.
that's more
and
uplifting.
It's uplifting.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel, so I don't know if that's maybe the difference is
Your
that
wins.
it doesn't, it's the wins. It's just the
Yeah.
wins.
I
So
love
it's
that.
a little different. I actually have a question because this is something that the reason why one of the main reasons why I did Fishbowl, the stressors that we have now, because we have to pay for all of our bills and all of that, I think it's wild that it's not being taught to kids in the system, like in the school system already, so that it doesn't become, so that it becomes second nature to them.
To what?
To follow your passion project from kindergarten, and figure out your passions as you go. And it's not just soccer or dance or art. It's anything. Like my kid isn't obsessed with squishies now, as most of the kids are, and we're waiting in line an hour before Five Below opens to try to get the squishies. And I said, you know what? This is your new passion project. Let's figure out how to get them, or let's figure out how to make them. And your passion project is going to be so much bigger that you're making this to sell it, to make money.
Yeah.
People are loving what you know what I mean? Like, that to me is, I don't understand why it's something so simple, why it's not brought into the system already, and why we have to deal with it as adults, go to college, pay hundreds of thousands of dollars. It might not be your passion project. Usually it's not. You go and you become a lawyer, or you become you get your degrees. I know plenty of people that have done psychology or law or whatever and did nothing with it. Just, they're just in debt. They did it because that's, very cool. I got out of school and this is what I have and this is my degrees and I'm going to make tons of money, but they're like not happy with what they're doing.
Yeah.
And even if you don't go to college, like just trying to figure yourself out when you're out of school, I don't know. I just don't.
But I think
that
this is
it's
why you exist.
Well,
thank you. But how crazy that it didn't exist before. Right.
I don't
like
think it
old
will
school,
exist.
You don't think so?
Because the school system is not built like that. It's not built to take 600 students or 1,000 students and help them find themselves. You come in, you do your job. Unfortunately, I'm saying it from a sad place.
From a sad place, right?
But our system, and it's not just our system. I think it's
every
around
system.
It's every system.
It's the system.
You become a robot. You come in, you have the same test. The tests don't change within the years. The classes routine doesn't change. Like everything is the same. Everything.
I think
it's
it
just
needs to change.
Easier.
I think it needs to change, and I think that's why it goes back to passion project and your mission and your vision. Like, I'm gonna get this done, or I'm gonna die trying. That is my thing, because I have 3 kids. They're all completely different children. They don't learn the same. They don't have the same qualities. They don't talk the same. They don't have the same friendships. But they're all absolutely incredible. And only the kid that knows how to hone in on the lessons really benefits from the school system, which is wild. It's crazy. It's crazy because,
I have a small example for you. For example, that my son had to endure last year is that he's really amazing with math. He doesn't even write it down. It happens, it pops in his head, the answers, and he already it's like he understands the language. Like he was born like with that language of math.
Beautiful.
And when he was sitting down and they did like a class problem, he actually got not screamed at, but the teacher kind of shamed him because he wasn't doing it their way. He wasn't doing it the right way. He was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was doing it in his own way, the way he understood it. The answer was correct, but the way he did it didn't match the rest of the class.
Isn't that insane?
And he was so internally sad and upset for 2 weeks. I think I told you about this. I'm not sure, but he was so sad. He was getting frustrated a lot easier. He was like really, really sad. And when I found out about this, it's like he actually wrote like in the diary at night and he shared it with me. And I was like, this is not okay.
Yeah.
It's one thing to do in a calculator. Okay, I understand. But he didn't. He did it. He found the answer his way, the way he understands it, the way his brain works. And he actually got put down by the teacher.
So horrible. I hate that like my blood boils. And I'm going to even take it one more step. I don't see a problem with calculators.
Really?
No, I don't. And I don't see a problem with AI. And I don't see a problem.
I do.
I don't.
I feel like it dumbs your brain of actually
if you're dependent on it.
Getting harder to think. Like it's okay. It's okay to work hard. Because it's the thing. We all work hard, right?
But why is it okay to work hard if you can work smarter? Even with kids.
There's
a program.
because we all have the basics of working hard.
So I have another question
So
for
we can
you.
go easy. So we can take the shorter route,
So
right?
I can't
but
do
we
math.
already know how to work hard. Those kids are born into not working hard.
But why aren't they taught to work hard on something that they love rather than working hard on something that they hate?
Because if you don't teach them from a young age to work hard, they won't even work hard
From
for something that they
love.
love. I don't think so. Do you
I don't
think
know.
that?
I think there's a system that the school provides, and then there's the responsibility of the parent to say, okay, I mean, sure, we're going to do all the things to try to advocate, to try to change things. But in the meantime, you got this kid that's growing up, like, step in.
Right.
I stepped in. I mean, I only have the one,
Mhm.
but I stepped in early to say, do what you're going to do, get good grades, do all those things.
Yeah.
But there's more.
Right.
And I expect more from you because I know you're capable of more.
Right.
So then
No,
we
I
push
think-
that parallel to what's happening in the school.
Yeah.
But leaning on technology, leaning on tools, I think it's inevitable. It's happening. It's here now. Right. But you teach the kids how to use it so that it is a force multiplier.
Right.
Versus depending on it. How do you use this actually to get ahead? Right? Not that it's thinking for you, but ask it the right questions so that it takes you to that next level. So
But
that
how do you
multiplies
teach that a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old?
Maybe not a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
But a 10-year-old in baby steps. There's
Yeah.
baby steps. There's blockers that you can do for AI where they're not on it for too long. There's maybe with you overseeing it. I think the mistake goes into just kind of like how we had with social media. We were never taught how to do it. And some of these kids are being bullied and getting, making crazy mistakes on social media because we're not taught how to use it. Social media is a crazy tool if it's used properly.
Right.
And because there's no moderation, for children and it's just, they were never taught. The teachers don't know how to utilize it. This world is shifting in a crazy way. It's definitely not the same how we grew up,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to adapt. We need to adapt. They can't be telling your kid that's a genius in this to not be able to solve. Like, I don't agree with that. I don't think that he should be showing how he got to this answer. He should just give the answers. If the teacher has a question, then she can be like, you know what, can you just show me 2 of them? I just want to make sure that you understand the way that it needs to. Because what happens is if he understands it a certain way, teaching it the other way could potentially confuse him and actually take him backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So like I had a lot of difficulty teaching my children the way that math is taught now. Math now is broken up in a million pieces because they think it's easier. I don't agree. Of course, I'm not a teacher, so I don't know the back end of it. But it becomes so difficult that the parent can't even help the kid because we were taught a different way. Just
True.
regular multiplication or regular, division was how now it's how many tens go into this? How many hundreds go into this? How do you break it up into all these other sections? Like, damn, just let him solve it and show you that he knows the answer. And can we move on to the next, because I think what happens is because they don't know these core things, and I know it from a lot of the kids that I work with, because it's become so complicating, like basic math has become so complicating, they're not even grasping basic math anymore. And so they're quickly moving on to like algebra, geometry, but because they've complicated the basic, it's become crazy. So I don't know. My thought is if the kid is really good at what he does, then let him thrive there. There's for sure something else that he's going to need support in that you can, go in and hone in and just be like, listen, for this, do a little bit more, put in a little bit more work. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents of it.
To close this whole subject, but I do want to say that what I do like about the school system is actually I view it that their math problems actually is being written to them, which I always had a hard time understanding it. And now they're teaching it at a young age, like it's a word problem, like the math becomes a word problem. And I think it's an amazing thing because you have to understand. You have to understand the question, which is usually the issue, not solving it right, but not understanding the problem right. You know what I mean?
So I have to, sorry,
I know.
but I have to,
I saw your face.
because reading comprehension is a whole other thing that kids have issues with. So yes, explaining it to a kid that maybe needs that extra explanation, yes, but a kid that has reading comprehension now is being tested on reading comprehension and math.
I see what
In
you're
one
saying.
lesson, and it becomes so much more difficult just from my own experience. So I think the school system is doing its best for the kids. I just think that there's like a missing element that couldn't be life changing. That finding the kid that has the disabilities or is super talkative, like find what you can have him run with, have him like not see that as being a problem. The kid that's completely talkative and really distracting the class, you can take him out of being the problem kid, like, and putting him in this box of you're a problem kid, and finding something that's like significantly.
But I think that's the key to the problem, is that the teachers are just
They don't have
the tools.
They don't have the tools.
They don't have the tools. It's kind of like when a kid, doesn't behave well, they just like eliminate him from the class. They move him
Right.
to another class, or they, take him to the principal's office, and that's not solving the problem.
No, it's not.
It's just putting a plaster right for that day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
anyways,
agree.